everyone. Today I'm going to be just filling you in on where I've been. So I've had quite a nasty infection around where my tube goes into my tummy, and I haven't filmed for probably a month, which is a very long time. I haven't felt very well at all. I've been on antibiotics that haven't agreed with me, but I think I'm slowly getting there now. I had a week where I didn't get out of bed very much. I think I only got out to wash, so I've done a lot of reading. As I'm not really a telly person, if I'm absolutely shattered I'll put the telly on, but otherwise I always grab an audiobook or a book. So during that week, the only book I read was Notes from a Coma by Mike McCormack, and it was sent to me by Canon, which was very kind. I did request it. It follows JJ O'Malley, who volunteers to do a government experiment to look into using coma as a way of controlling prison populations in Ireland. So it's very much realistic. Like, you could imagine reading this alongside watching what's going on the television, or reading it a few years later after, say, and going, oh, it's very interesting to see that perspective now, I didn't see that at the time. So it looks at his father, his friend, his girlfriend, like perspectives throughout of what he was like when he was growing up and how the experiment may have changed him. I really enjoyed this. It's set in Ireland. I've never read a book so centred in Ireland before. My granddad's from Ireland and I love the cover. I think he'd really like the cover. Can you see it's all marbles? It's very pretty. Yeah, it just reminded me of him, like when they were talking about Cork and places like that. My granddad's just been on holiday there. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I also listened to an audiobook called #Girlboss by the founder of Nasty Girl. I really enjoyed it. It was a really quick read. I read it in one day. Well, I listened to it in one day, and it talks about her journey to being the successful businesswoman that she is now. I loved that it wasn't a rags to riches story, but it was very much a if you don't succeed in education, it's not the end of the world. I was having a bit of a hard day with that because obviously I'm not continuing with my education at the minute, but I want to do that. But, you know, there's always days where you doubt yourself, and this really made me quite happy, made me realise, you know, loads of people succeed without necessarily going through the formal things of education. Next up, I listened to Salt to the Sea by Rita Sepetti. This has been a really anticipated read for me. I've been looking out for it everywhere and it's popped up. So, Salt to the Sea looks at German, Prussian and Lithuanian civilians in the Second World War as the Russians are advancing on them. To be honest, it's a perspective that I've never been told about or looked into because obviously I live in England, so our education tells us about the Blitz and what our forces were doing rather than the civilians on the other side. I loved how emotional it was. The audiobook was fantastic. It had a full cast of people reading, and there was very diverse characters. It portrayed the fear and uncertainty around that time. I don't want to say too much, but they're included in the book is one of the biggest historical events that's never been recorded in modern times, and it actually broke my heart. It's a book that I think about very often, and it makes me realise how lucky we are to live in the day and age that we do. Next up, I listened to The Couple Next Door. This is a book that my mum read ages ago and said, Hannah, you have to listen to it, so I did. This follows a couple who go over to their neighbour's house to have tea, but their neighbour doesn't want them to bring their baby with them. So they set up a monitor, the camera's broken on the monitor, but when they return home they don't know where the baby is. The baby has gone missing. It's very twisty and turny, and my suspicion was correct in the end in finding out who or how the whole kidnap happened, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was yeah, it was something to keep me awake and sharp, and yeah, really enjoyed that one. And finally, I listened to A Handmaid's Tale. I haven't been watching the adaptation on TV. I've got it recorded and ready to watch because I wanted to read the book first. I wasn't the biggest fan of this, if I am honest. I just thought it got going towards the end. I thought there was a very clever twist at the end, but it's so hyped, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So it follows of Fred, a young woman who has to live in a colonel's house and have sex with him in the bid to try and have a baby that is normal and does not have anything wrong with it, because they live in a time when the world has been destroyed by chemicals. I don't want to say any more than that. I'm itching to, but I won't because I don't want to spoil it for you. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any audiobook suggestions at all, I would love to hear them. I'm always up for a good audiobook. Let me know how you are. I enjoy keeping up with you all, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.